Jawbox were a post-hardcore band from Washington, D.C. They were formed in 1989 and released 2 albums on an indie label. Then they almost broke up, but got a major record label contract and released 2 more albums. That tided them over until 1997 when they did disband. They got together again briefly in 2009 for a one-off performance, and then they properly reformed in 2019. They did some tours, but as of 2025, they are officially again disbanded, and they have no more albums released in that most recent stint. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of the album For Your Own Special Sweetheart by Jawbox, which was released in 1994, was their 3rd album, which was their first album for their major label Atlantic, and it's my first time encountering them, so I've not listened to this before, or any of theirs, I don't think. So apparently this is post-hardcore in the context of punk. What does that mean? Apparently, it's the broadening out of hardcore punk into more ideas, so an expansion of that. Is it punk? Not sure. Is it rock? Definitely. Okay. So it's got vocals, electric guitars, crunchy bass, and drums. There's quite a variety of different feels here, and I guess I would say at times it encroaches on indie rock and maybe even mainstream rock. All these distinctions, I feel, are quite finely sliced in this world. I quite enjoyed it musically, in fact. It's straightforward, but mildly interesting at points. Actually, so I'm going to return to some of these comparisons. It got a bit of the feel of grunge at times, but not the kind of light, dark lights. But it does have some of the breakdown stuff and some of the discordant tensions. In fact, there's some creative use of discords here on the guitars. The whole sound is quite tight. The playing is tight, and it's got a little bit of a compressed feel to it. So, yeah. What else can we say? So, to be honest, so I feel like I like particularly the bass and the drums here. Occasionally, some of the guitar stuff, it has some nice moments. And I'm going to pull out Cruel Swing as a track that I particularly liked here. It's, in some ways, it's a bit kind of pre-Green Day. That I think that was kind of new punk and new. Occasionally, there's some nice grooves and some decent energy. It's the sort of music that could be featured in a skateboarding video game, I would say. The vocals are quite low in the mix, and they feel kind of compressed, and again remind me of Green Day and others of the ilk who came later than this. The singing's okay, but not particularly spectacular. It is quite singy, though. It's definitely singing with harmonies and tunes and stuff going on. So the content is apparently abstract but introspective. I can get behind that idea. That's kind of reasonable impression of what I got through it. So overall, I'd say it's a reasonable listen. I don't think it would appeal particularly to people who are really into the heavy guitar-driven rock stuff. It's not necessarily stuff that I feel best about, but I was reasonably okay with this one. In fact, I quite enjoyed it. It's slightly off the generic track, but hasn't wandered too far from that. So that's what I think of this album. As always, I'd love to know what you think, so please tell me by leaving me a comment. But that's it from me for now.